Hi everybody, it's James here and welcome to part 2 of the Toton N Gauge exhibition layout update, or Toto'N as we've been calling it. For those of you who've watched the first video, you remember we got as far as doing the drawings and the planning for the whole thing. For those who haven't, there's a link in the corner for you, you can see where this all started. So obviously on the screen you can see we've got the shed building mostly together and it's sat on the board. So how do we get here? Well, as I said, we had the drawings done and I had them all to scale and I was pretty happy with them, and we're ready to start building. So before we do that, we had to get some plasticard. That all came from Slater's, and luckily they do a huge range of plasticard sheeting, so I could get a couple of different ones from them, which would be right for the building in the scale we're doing it in. So that was good. Then with the building itself, I was going to cut out everything by hand and mess about with that, and a friend of mine over at Online Models Limited offered me the use of his laser cutting machine, so we did it on there instead, which was an experience in itself. I'd never done a laser cut building before, designing one that is, and it's a lot more difficult than you might think. It's not just a case of putting out the shapes and sticking them together, you've got to think how they're going to fit together, so a few problems to overcome there, but I think it looks okay. So as you can see here, it all went together rather well, and the plasticard sits nice and neat in all the corners and the joints, which I'm really pleased about. Had to then think about extension and extra pieces, so we have the extra door on what is technically road 0, it's the wheel lathe road, and again that had to be set back very slightly and arranged, so again the shed grew a little bit bigger than what we'd originally anticipated and planned, but I think it looks pretty good, and again the plasticard all fits together neatly. It's difficult to get the joint lines to disappear, but it can be done, and all in all I'm rather pleased with how it's come together. That done, the roof bars had to be fitted, the structure for the insides. Again, being laser cut, it made it a lot easier to get all the profiles the same and make them fit, which is handy. Just a whole lot goes together really quick and easy. Just a bit of super glue actually, and a lot of Pritt stick. So that was all done. Really pleased how that looks. The individual flat panels then had to be fitted next, in preparation for fitting the 3 apexes that go across the width of the entire building. Once they're all done, then I've got to look at building the skylights and the roof vents. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it later. Then we had to do the doors. Again, from the first video, remember the discussion was about making the doors work and having them going up and down, everything else. For the time being, that's not going to happen. I've decided to make them all solid from plasticard, as you can see. Door posts are made out of a bit of microstrip, and this has been done so it looks like the shed's on a bit of a cooler morning. All the doors are shut, and that's how I've seen it in a lot of photographs, so it looks about right. And if you need to make the doors open in the future, that can still be done. So I'm not saying it isn't going to happen, it's just not going to happen right now. But all in all, I'm rather pleased how they look, even if it is a little bit fiddly painting them. So with all that done, I had to off it up to the baseboard. As you can see along the back, I had to add a bit of a strip in there, make it a little bit wider, an extra couple of 3 inches, because the shed's grown by an extra couple of 3 inches. But I think it looks alright. Made one more decision, put some brand new backboards on, make it a little bit smarter, a bit neater, and it all come together rather well. So we're back on the table downstairs, and as you can see, tried a bit of track on here. You can see the sector plate in the middle, and obviously the storage roads along the back, where everything will be held, waiting its next turn of duty. It's all going to be wired in with analog control. I have got plans for an extra little thing as well, which I'll explain to you in just a minute. But before I do that, just have a quick look at the new fascia boards. They look rather smart, and as you can see there, the viewing window on the left for when you're at exhibitions. Saying exhibitions, this is the view that I've been planning on showing everybody for when it actually is being exhibited. Give that impression of being standing on the bank, or perhaps if you get a bit closer, being in the car park and looking across the depot, from basically the mid-60s right up to about 1997. Got a few options on different things that's going to be going on, obviously, with the shed in this position. clearly you'll be seeing locomotives travelling in from the off scene and being stabled and moving back out. The original load bank actually used to be over on the left hand side in front of the wheel lathe road, so I might be putting that back in there and wait and see. So moving back round the other side of the layout, this is the view from the operator as well, and I don't think it's a bad one, is it? Looks a lot like the shed used to be before the cathedral was built in 1998, and obviously you can imagine that being completely filled up with 58s and peaks, and 47s, 37s and all the usual. But before I do that, of course, I need to put the track down. As you can see, there's a couple of bits in there for test. The track on this layout will be Pico code 55, and it's all going to be wired up with analog control. There is going to be one extra feature though, and that is going to be a shuttle unit provided by Chris from Westhill Wagon Works, so cheers to that mate, appreciate it. The reason we're going to have the shuttle unit, of course, will be when you're at an exhibition, if you need to pop off for a coffee or speaking to the public, locomotives can actually travel on and off scene and still be moving for people that are watching and wanting to see something going on. So that's an advantage, I think, but something I've got to work on. I haven't used one before, so that could be interesting. And that's it. Well, it is for this video anyway. So again, thank you to Alex, Online Models. Thank you again to Chris from Westhill Wagon Works. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Remember to check out part 1 if you haven't seen it already. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll join us for the next one, and bye for now.